Hi everyone, today I'll be making the Unlined version of the NBC pouch by Serendipity Patterns. So this one I used a self-healing textile. This is vinyl. It is not lined. And I used my pinking shears to make some notches at the bottom curve. And we'll walk through all of these steps. And this is the medium size that we'll be making today. For this unlined version, I will be using vinyl. When I cut the vinyl, I traced out a half of my pattern. I marked the center, flipped the pattern over, and traced the other half. Because cutting vinyl on the fold can be really difficult, so that's not really recommended. So that's how I did it. So I have my vinyl, my zipper tape, my Key Fob hardware, I'm using the clamp style, and my number 5 zipper pull. We are not attaching the zipper pull to the zipper tape yet. So the first step is to prep our zipper. So to prep our zipper tape, grab your ruler and your marking pen and mark a 1/4 inch up from the bottom of your zipper tape. At a 1/4 inch line right at the bottom. Grab your exterior. You will lay the zipper down right side up, and you're going to match the bottom edge of your vinyl. Put it right next to that 1/4 inch mark. Make sure that you can see that. So we're putting it right at that 1/4 inch mark and clip it into place. You want to have that 1/4 inch overhang at the bottom. Go ahead, clip it into place, and then we're taking it to our machine to sew together at a 1/4 inch seam allowance. So you should have your zipper foot on your machine, or if you have a narrow foot, sew that together at a 1/4 inch seam allowance. With the zipper attached to one side, we will now repeat it on the other side. So take this side of your vinyl, put it at that 1/4 inch mark, and clip it into place. And we'll sew this together as well at the 1/4 inch seam allowance. We now have our zipper tape attached to both sides of the vinyl. We want to separate our zipper and do not iron your vinyl because that can damage it. You can finger press along the zipper. So fold it so that you see the right side of the zipper facing up. Finger press both sides. Take that to your machine and top stitch at 1/8 of an inch. You also want to back stitch at the very top of your zipper, right in line with where the fabric is. Back stitch right here, both sides, only at the top of the zipper. This will add as zipper stops so that your pull doesn't slide off accidentally. So let's do that. Our top stitching is done. We've added the stitches at the top of the zipper tape so that the pull doesn't slide off. Now we can add our number 5 zipper pull. You can use whatever tool you like to add the pull. I know some people like to use forks and zipper jigs. I like to put mine on with my hands. So I take my vinyl, holding it right side up. I put the zipper teeth together. So now I have the wrong side of my vinyl is facing outwards. and I'm going to attach my pull. But first I want to line it up and make sure that I have a nice smooth curve. You don't want it to be lopsided because then your curve's not going to meet up on both sides. So just looking at it, I think I'm going to start by inserting, that's just a tiny little piece right there. Let me clip that off. I'm going to insert this side first into my zipper pull because I like how it lines up with that coil pattern. And I look inside to make sure that this is the side that's going to come up first. Just push that down, and there you go. I have the coil pattern just like I like, and it's going to be a nice smooth curve. Close the zipper halfway, and everything's meeting up perfectly. And you do want to keep that zipper closed halfway, so when you are sewing the curve, you are not sewing over your zipper pull, because that's metal, and if your needle hits it, it will break. Also, we're using nylon zipper teeth, not metal, because if you sew over your metal zipper teeth, that will also break your needle. And for this vinyl method, we will be back stitching over the zipper teeth. And remember, we added these stops up here, so if I did close my zipper, my pull should not be coming off. It's stuck right there. I don't have to worry about it sliding off. Well, let's grab our wonder clips. Clip this together. Now we can draw our curve. Let's grab a pen. I'm using red so you can see it better in this video. Following the pattern instructions, we will mark up with our vinyl. Let me add some extra clips just to hold here flat. Mark up 3/4 of an inch on both sides from the bottom. And that will be your starting point and your ending point for your curve. Along the bottom, we will be using a 1/4 inch seam allowance. To draw that curve, adjust your clips, and I'm going to do some dots, measure a 1/4 inch, in a couple spots, and then I'm going to connect the dots. Adjust those clips. And we do still have that 1/4 inch overhang at the bottom of the zipper tape. So we'll have to be around 1/2 inch along the zipper. And you can use more clips if that's easier for you. And while we're sewing the curve, you can hand crank so you can control it and not worry about it going off track. And do another dot right here. And I will start to draw my curve. Just connect those dots. Make sure that your both sides still match up. And when we're connecting it to the last points at the beginning and ending of the curve, we want it to blend into this 1/4 inch. You don't want an abrupt connection to the side right here, the 1/4 inch, because then you'll end up with really pointy corners. So just let it blend nicely like this. That's your mark, 3/4 of an inch up, and you just blend it into that 1/4 inch seam allowance at the bottom. Same for the other side. And we'll take this to the machine and sew it. For vinyl, you can backstitch maybe just 1 time and then tie off your threads. You don't want to perforate the vinyl too much. Our curve is done. We can turn it to check just to see how it looks. It may be a bit difficult to see how it really looks with the vinyl since it's thicker than cotton, but let's just push it down, see if we like how it looks. Not bad. Let's turn it back. We want to trim the excess zipper. So let's trim off that extra 1/4 inch. You can grab your lighter, burn the ends. Don't burn your fabric. Now you want to cut some notches along the curve. We're not cutting where the zipper is, only to the left and right of the zipper tape. I'll be using my pinking shears. If you don't have pinking shears, just cut some tiny triangles. Make sure you don't clip into your stitches. I'm stopping right there. Other side. Now we can turn this right side out. The vinyl method is the quickest method because it's unlined. We just finished the seam using our pinking shears, clipping those notches to give you that nice curve. Look at that. Now we want to get ready to attach our key fob, but first let us stitch down the top of our zipper. Just stitch those teeth down, pull your zipper pull up about 1 inch from the top. We're going to stitch that down. We back stitched across the zipper teeth only, right here, about 1/4 inch from the top of the fabric. We're going to cut off the excess zipper tape. If you're using a screw-on key fob hardware and you cut your pattern out at that line, now you will insert your pouch into the hardware and use screws to secure it. I will be using a 1 1/4 inch clamp style key fob hardware, but I'm going to show you what you would do if you had a 1 inch hardware. So following the cut line for the 1 inch hardware, you would have to take your hardware and position it on the back. You'd want the ends of your hardware to be flush along with the side, and you'd have to trim off about, for a 1 inch, you'd have to trim off about an 1/8 of an inch to a 1/4 of an inch off the top. So I'm using 1 1/4 inch, so I would follow the 1 1/4 inch cut line and line mine up. So let me go ahead and clip off the excess for mine, which normally you wouldn't have to do if you follow the pattern cutting line. So I trimmed off the excess. That's good for me. I cut off where I had back stitched over my zipper. So I'm going to take this back to the machine, stitch over it just to secure it. I'd hate to pull my zipper pull off now when I've reached so far in this pouch. So I'm going to back stitch right here and then come back to attach my key fob hardware. I've back stitched across the top about an 1/8 of an inch down. Again, I burnt the top and I didn't want my threads to be hanging out the side, so I only top stitched over the teeth, all over the zipper tape, not all the way to the ends. I'll check my key fob. I like how that lines up. Let's check the back. You want to make sure those prongs are going through your fabric. If it doesn't catch your fabric, then it will fall off. So I'll be using my key fob pliers. If you have regular pliers, you just need to protect your hardware so it doesn't get scratched. Maybe use some painter's tape. I'll insert this, center it, make sure the prongs are going on the back, and squeeze. Give it a good squeeze. I like to squeeze the ends again. Pull it, it's not going anywhere, and you're done. For vinyl, if you do want this curve to be a little flatter, you can use your wonder clips and clip along the curve. Leave that for maybe an hour or so. The thing is, wonder clips have those little grooves on them. They can leave a little mark on your vinyl. So if you have these hair clips, you could also use these. And just let that sit on your vinyl for maybe an hour. Push out that curve. Clip it along. And you are all done with the vinyl Unlined method.